My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive. I am a Reiki master. I am soon to be finished with level 2 of HUNA, which is going to be amazing. And I also do neuro-linguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy. So welcome everybody to my Soul Stir Magic community. And I'm so grateful that you're here today for March 11th, 2024 Magic Mondays. Okay? Good. Now, today's topic is affirmations. If you guys, I know everybody has heard about affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements or affirmative statements that affirm the positive. And it's really important. We use these because the typical go-to is to go negative. Human beings are pretty much taught that we are to go negative. That's just the way it goes. We remember negative things more strongly than we remember positive things. We remember negative emotions more positively than we remember positive emotions. It's just the way we work. It goes back in history and it goes back to literally creation and trying to keep us safe from time. So affirmations have been around forever, part of the personal growth and development movement. Louise Hay was really strong with affirmations, and Louise Hay is the woman who did Hay House Publishing, right? So she has that, and I have a calendar that puts out Louise Hay and Hay House. Well, she's gone, but Hay House puts out an affirmation calendar every year, so you can get a daily positive affirmation, and I love them. And then I actually pull them off. So these are some pictures of them. I pull off the calendar and I cut off the affirmation from the image and I store these in my collage folders, so that way I can always do a card with a positive affirmation or have an image or whatever I want to do. And as an aside, these images, particularly this one of the lion, this is pretty amazing if you actually put the lion and you put it on a jelly plate and you make an image transfer on a jelly plate from these things. They're pretty freaking cool. So that's a little art tip, right? So back to affirmations. So it's positive statements that we say about ourselves. So as a personal story, when I was working to get healthy and I was quite a bit heavier than I am now, I remember really looking in the mirror and I wanted to work on self-love and work on self-care. And I would look at myself in the mirror and I would say, you are beautiful, right? You were kind, you were loving, you were beautiful. You have such a great smile, all those kind of things. I would start giving myself positive affirmations. And my body would instantly feel the ones that felt right for me and the ones that I just didn't believe, right? So at that point in my life, I really did not believe I was beautiful. So when I would say, you are beautiful in the mirror, my gut would just kind of go, I don't think so, right? And then if I would say you were kind, you were compassionate, you were loving, my body was like right on. I could feel it, right? So I could feel the affirmations that resonated because of what I was believing at the time. And I could definitely feel a lean away, a move away on the affirmations that I just didn't believe at the time. Now, I didn't know any better at the time. I was just reading, not just reading. I was doing all kinds of metaphysical reading, all stuff. I've been studying metaphysics since I was in my late 20s, early 30s. And I just didn't know at a time. I thought that if I just kept saying the positive affirmations, then it's kind of like fake it till you make it. And I would eventually start to believe I was beautiful, right? I would start to believe these things. So, and I'll get to that in just a minute. And then the other thing is I started using affirmations. Oh, getting the nose, you guys. There's people on here that want the reading. I'm getting the bunny nose. I promise I'm going to pull some cards today, okay? So then I got to a point where I wanted to use affirmations for manifestation. So I wanted to create things in my physical reality that I knew I wanted in the spiritual plane, as above, so below, right? So I really wanted to use affirmations to get there. So I would say things like, I drive a beautiful brand new car that I purchased using money from my independent business. And, I love the car that I'm driving. I paid half down for my business. I saved the money. So I would do all of these kind of positive statements with it. Now, again, some of it would work really, really well, and other parts of it didn't work well. What I've learned over the time, and what I've really realized is when affirmations don't work is when I have limiting beliefs, right? I call it gunk in the pipes. It's just the easiest way to do it. So I had limiting beliefs from significant events, negative emotions, other things that happened in my childhood, excuse me, you guys, happened in my childhood that just made it so I didn't believe the things that I were saying. So when I was affirming it, it didn't resonate with me. So here's a very personal example. My grandmother had a very distinct, really kind of horrible belief, right? And my grandmother had a really horrible belief that if you were an overweight woman, you were not beautiful. You could not be fat and beautiful. Those two things did not go together, right? And so she passed that down to my mother. My mother passed that down to me. And my mother was very, very thin when she was young, and then she started gaining weight when she had me. And, she started struggling with weight her whole life. And therefore, I struggled with weight my whole life. And my mother just had this belief that came down. And even though she never said it to me that I couldn't be fat, that I could be fat and beautiful, she did say things like, oh, you have such a pretty face, oh, your blue eyes are so pretty, but it always had the but indication. As a child, I heard, oh, I have a pretty face, or I have this, but the size of my body means that I'm not attractive or I'm not beautiful. And so even though my mother didn't pass down and say the things that my grandmother said to her, there still was the energy behind it, right? There still was those limiting beliefs, those decisions that were made that came to me as a kid. So when I would look in the mirror and I would say, you are so beautiful, my unconscious mind was like, no, that's not true. You don't believe that. And so one of the things I learned about affirmations is when you say a positive affirmation, you have to feel it. You have to believe it, and you have to know it. So if you're dealing with something from your past, a limiting belief, a negative emotion, a significant event, and you can't say those words, it means there is gunk in the pipes. It means that your unconscious mind would really like to heal that first in order to get you to the statement you would like to do. And that's where shadow work comes in, right? So our unconscious mind is amazing. The things I have learned about the unconscious mind through my NLP and my MER studies has been absolutely incredible. So our unconscious mind knows everything. It remembers every event, every emotion, everything we have. It is literally our supercomputer, okay? And so it knows our past, it knows our past lives, it hangs on to everything. And so one of the things that happens when we have a traumatic event, or we have a wound, or we have a limiting belief, or we have something that comes in, our unconscious mind stores that. And then what it does, it buries it for us because we can't emotionally deal with it at the time. So it just kind of like puts like a, like Harry Potter and the invisibility cloak. It just kind of puts like a little invisibility cloak around that event, and then it buries it for us. And then what happens is as we grow up, as we become adults, as we start to heal and have personal growth and development, our unconscious mind will bring our stuff up for us. So that's when our stuff comes up, right? And when it comes up, you've heard me say celebrate it. The Hawaiians celebrate when your stuff comes up because to Hawaiian culture, that means that you are in a safe space to be able to heal from it. And the Hawaiians believe in healing it as opposed to hanging on to it. And before the white men got there, the Hawaiians were one of the healthiest cultures, native cultures around, because they literally didn't hang on to it, so it didn't manifest as physical body symptoms, right? And then once the white man came and, all of the missionaries came and the other stuff that happened, the Hawaiians became just as susceptible to, diabetes and, the other illnesses that we have in the Western world. But the two things that really kept the Hawaiian culture so healthy and so safe was the fact that they dealt with their stuff when it came up, and then they immediately did ho'oponopono, or forgiveness work. And so they would do those two things in combination, which means that it helped with the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, and the physical body, because it allowed everything to get back into alignment, or to become pono, to become aligned. And when your spiritual body, your mental body, emotional body, and physical bodies are in alignment, then you have complete and total health. That's how it works, okay? Now, the unconscious mind is a big part of that alignment, and that works with your conscious mind. So you can trick your conscious mind with affirmations. We can take this thinking mind of ours, our ego mind, and we can trick our ego mind into believing whatever we want it to believe. We can say, I'm going to make $1 million this year. And we can trick our conscious mind, because our conscious mind's like, heck yeah, let's make $1 million this year. Let's do it. And our unconscious mind is in there going, yeah, let's make $1 million. Okay, let's get in there and go with the conscious mind. And then we're working along, we're doing what we want to do, we're moving it, we're grooving, we're doing great. And all of a sudden, our stuff comes up, a pattern hits, something happens, and our unconscious mind goes, nope, we haven't dealt with that, and it veers off. Excuse me a minute, I got to get some tea, you guys. Forgive me, please forgive me. I picked up a little cold from Izzy last week. It's really just a cold. I tested, it's not COVID. There's nothing terrible. It's just a tiny little head cold, but you can hear it in there. So our unconscious mind veers off and says, nope, we can't do that, because you cannot fool and trick the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind in a lot of ways is like a child that, that wants to make the conscious mind right. And it also, if it's not right, because it's not going to go against its authentic self, it will have a temper tantrum. And so that's a lot what's happens. That's how we self-sabotage ourselves and other things, is that we are we're doing willpower, right? We're tricking our conscious mind, and our unconscious mind is coming along for the ride. And then it's like, nope. And it has a temper tantrum. It starts crying and banging its feet and beating its fist. Because it's like, nope, that's not in alignment. That's not truth. And it'll make sure that we won't do that. So, that we won't do the thing that we want to do, because it will throw self-sabotage and other things up in our place. Okay? So affirmations, back to affirmations. When you are doing an affirmation and you are clearing the gunk out of your pipes by doing the shadow work, which means you allow the stuff to roll. You look at it honestly. In Hawaiian culture, it means alo, to face. You face it and you do alo, and then you allow it to come up, and you can say, yes, sometimes I am a jealous person. Yes, sometimes I am an envious person. Sometimes I have a pity party. Sometimes I play the victim, right? Those are the kinds of statements that are in the shadow, because we don't want to admit that we have them, and yet they're there. And our unconscious mind is like, yep, we have them. So when you're doing a statement and it's coming up and it's not working, if what you're doing is not working and you're doing all the things and all the things and all the things, and no matter what you do, you can't seem to get the results you want, it's because you need to clear the gunk from the pipes, okay? I had to clear the gunk from the pipes. That's when I talk about my breakthrough sessions and I talk about the work that I did. I cleared the gunk from the pipes so that way I could look at things with a new, fresh eye. So on affirmations, I can now say those things. I have done the shadow work, I've done the physical work, I've done everything else, that I actually can look at myself in the mirror and be like, you are beautiful. And my body's like, yeah, we can do that, right? So we got there. And then I can say the affirmations. So if you are doing affirmations and it's not working, or you're doing all the things that the spiritual books tell you to do and it's not working, understand it's the role of the unconscious mind that is causing it to not work in your life. Okay? That's really, really important. And when you deal with the unconscious mind and you get Pono, then all of a sudden it's like you clean the windows and you get to see your life from a fresh new perspective. And then when you say affirmations, like here's one from Hay House that I love that says, right, that's the lion that I showed you. It says, I am created to succeed and I give thanks for my success now. You know what? I believe that. I've done the work on my business and money and the gunk that came up from my family of lack and money work. So I can feel that. I can say, I am created to succeed and I give thanks for my success now. Now, there's two pieces to that are valuable for manifestation. One, you say the affirmation, I am created to succeed. And two is gratitude. I give thanks for my success now. When you give gratitude to the universe, when you give gratitude to source and spirit and your higher self, and gratitude for the life that you are living right now, the universe responds and says, okay, she likes where she's at, she's clear, we can keep making sure that the manifestation is going to happen. And the gratitude is amazing. When my guides and angels do something for me, I always make sure to say thank you. I petition them, I ask, I seek, and then I say thank you. It's a multi-part process for me, and it works every single time. Okay? Here's another one. I use my thoughts to enhance my life. I fill my mind with thoughts of love each and every day. Why love? Because love is the highest vibration that we can have. When we can have love for ourselves, give love to others, receive love and give love, we are working in the highest possible vibration of the universe. And that is manifestation. Okay? I'll give you another one. I love and accept myself, and I enjoy the most wonderful friendships. Again, I'm affirming that my girlfriends and my relationships are amazing. Why? Because perception is projection. What I believe, the thoughts I have, is what I project out onto the world, and then that's what the world mirrors back to me. Okay? So, here's one I love. Carolyn, this one's for you too. All my creative projects give me great satisfaction. Kelly Gustus for you too. All my creative projects bring me great satisfaction. Okay? And then one last one for today with affirmations. I know that forgiving others is the first step for my own inner peace. And I do want to finish on that one again, going to Hawaii and Ho'oponopono. When I do the Ho'oponopono process, and when I do that with my clients, and I do that as part of the breakthrough session, a lot of times people have a hard time with the forgiveness process, right? And because a lot of times I'm dealing with clients who have trauma, and they had things happen to it that is not fair. And when you forgive another person, you are not forgiving their actions. You are not forgiving the deed or the event that happened to you. Unfortunately, some human beings in this world have had heinous, awful, horrible things happen to them that was not their fault. And the forgiveness process is not to forgive the deed and yet to forgive the person, and mostly to forgive yourself. Because if you are constantly hanging on to what happened to you and you're not in a state of forgiveness, you are out of alignment with your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, and then that's when physical things manifest. So alignment, Pono, is really what allows us to go, and forgiveness for self and others is a major key in living a happy and healthy existence. Okay?